Hello.
What's going on, buddy?
Oh, not a lot. How are you, Mr. Kruse?
I'm pretty good. Pretty good. It's Friday, and that's always enjoyable. Did you see that my red shirt to wear red on Fridays?
Is that what it is? Is it Red on Friday?
Yeah, it's one of those things. Just remember everyone deployed. Veterans, active duty.
Sorry, I'm the opposite.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's you got to wear what you got to wear. So
This is the only clothes I have is these black farm clothes. So,
well, I mean, it's different being a farmer, right?
well, it is what it is. Like I can't
Right.
really just turn it into something else. Hi, Eagle. Thank you very much. Eagle, whatever, however you say your name. Thank you very much for joining in on the live stream. Thank you, muchly appreciated. Um, yeah. My most utmost respect to people that serve. Absolutely, without
Yeah.
any question at all, for any country. Yeah, it's just obviously they got to dedicate and sacrifice so much to for the betterment of everyone. So
Right.
and
Yeah.
and like it's obviously a hell of a feat that they do. And so no question about the pain and hardship that they got to go through, whether it be mental stresses, personal lives, whatever it might be, their family sacrifices would just be tremendous. Like there'd be a hell of a lot to it.
That's great.
Hmm.
So, what's been going on with you? I mean, I became a member of CoffeeZilla's Patreon and watched the video and saw you in there, and um, that's pretty gut wrenching. I knew that a lot of things behind the scenes, and we had talked, and I knew you talking about it publicly on that type of platform was you know it was kind of tough for you and everything like that, but I
It's
appreciate it.
one of yeah, absolutely. Thank you. It's just one of those things where, like, it's kind of weird as you get older. And I say that I'm 49.
Mhm.
Um, because there's certain points in your life that when basically the click of a finger and then suddenly your whole world gets turned upside down. And 2020 was like, I know that so much went wrong for people in 2020, but
Very much.
2020, at the beginning of 2020 in February, that's when, like, one of my turning points in my life. Prior to that, I was always like, um believe it or not, back in the 1990s, I was actually an elite athlete. And I you know and I could do a lot of I was always like the fastest, the strongest, the I was always just really good at me sports and stuff. And and I did me thing and it was good. And then I say elite because I won a couple of state titles
Hmm.
in motorbike riding,
Well,
which
motorbike
were
riding, huh?
which is the highest class that we had here, which is the expert open class, um, in the enduros and cross country and that. But and I rode for Western Australia, and I did a fair bit before I basically reached the top straight away, and then I retired, got on with my life. But like, I always knew life as being that I could do stuff.
Hmm.
And when 2020, sure, I've been through a few issues in my life. Yes, I get that. Where we've all had our injuries and stuff like that. But usually, when you have an injury, you sort of get over it, and to a great degree, you can move on. Sure, you might have a few niggles and stuff, but essentially, you can go on with your life and it's all good. But the February 2020, when all the COVID stuff started, I twinged me back just standing up. Like, that's all I did. I wasn't picking anything up or nothing. I was just standing up. And then my sciatic nerve got pinched in me back. And be, as much as the medical system is good, it was just took forever to see a neurosurgeon or a neurologist about it, because being a nerve thing, you got to see the neuros. And it was just one of those things where, it just wasn't ever getting seen to. And talk about bloody pain. Like, if you've had a sciatic nerve pain, you'll know what I'm talking about. But that was every single day for months and months. And I was on high doses of, well, for me, it was high doses of opiates, pain medication. And it put me, I was in me and drugs isn't really like a match made in heaven. We kind of, I don't really like drugs that much. Like, things that alter my mind, I find quite challenging, so to speak. Hi, Whale Miner. Thank you very much for joining us, mate. It's greatly appreciated to see you here again. But then when I was it felt like I was living in a twilight zone, and I had some 13,000 litre tanks delivered, or I don't know what that is in gallons, 6,000, 7,000 gallons or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so then I put myself in a stupid spot, and I ended up getting squished underneath of it, and it whacked me on the leg. And hi, Berto. Thank you very much for joining. And it gave me a massive hematoma on my right leg, on the inside of my knee. And I've seen doctors about it and that, and they go, yeah, it's all right. But for some reason, I got really, really sick. Like, I had to get rushed to hospital, and I was spewing up and stuff. And I just was, and where we live is really remote to a hospital. Like, it's a few hour drive away. And it was just one of those situations where, you just got to get help. And unbeknown to me, I was actually in kidney failure, drug-induced kidney failure. And sorry for the long story. I hope you can bear with me a little bit. But
I don't see it as a long story. I think it's just getting to know, things about people. I mean, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I made a YouTube video, and I tried to make it short, and it's like nearly 30 minutes long, and it's like, shit, it just doesn't stop. But anyway, I got to hospital, and then I realized the bruise on my leg was actually infected, but on the inside. And so I had to have surgery on it, which I've got this big scar down my leg now from where they opened it up. But I never recovered from it. And I went cold turkey off the opiates at that point. And holy shit, that just hurt like hell. If you've ever been physically addicted to drugs, to opiates, man, that just hurts so much. Thank you. Invest in yourself. It just
I invest in yourself. He's he got to join us on an X Base. Well, I don't know if he wants to be doxxed. I think his name's different, but
yeah. Well, I'm sure his name's not Invest in Yourself.
Right. Well, I mean, he's known as that here. He's known differently where so I just don't want.
Everyone's got their different names. Yeah, no, it's all cool. Yeah, everyone's allowed to live how they want to be. That's fine.
Yeah.
Some of us take the stage and other people don't, and that's all good. But I know this sounds kind of weird, but I said to the GP that I need to get a CT scan on my brain because I got a brain tumor, and it was like looking at me like, what how the hell you come up with that? And I said, no, I told him my symptoms, which is, tinnitus and starting to lose my hearing. I'm getting vertigo, and, it's all signs of an acoustic neuroma, brain tumor. And he was really, really good. Now, believe me, if you have ever been down the acoustic neuroma path, which I'm sure you haven't, but if you did, it can be a very complicated path, because I want you to go and get hearing tests, and the process to getting to a CT scan is really complicated. Mm-hmm. But my GP was such a good GP. He just said, look, I know, I'll just let you go and do it. I said, beauty, no worries, because they know not to fight with me. They just let me do what I want. And so I went and had a CT scan, and it was kind of funny because you get herded in there. I've done lots of scans before, but this one day they were really rough with me. Like, it was just like, sit down there, do this, do that. And I was like, yeah, okay, yep, no worries. Thank you very much for helping me. And then suddenly they do the scan, and then they see that there's a brain tumor, and they come in and going, it's like they put their cotton mitts on, and they go, oh, we're so sorry, you've got a lesion on your brain, and yeah, you've got this issue and whatever. And from that moment, then essentially you're not allowed to drive, you can't do anything because, of course, being a brain tumor. And so it basically turns your life upside down from that moment. And that allowed me to then, I had to then go to hospital. With the kidney failure, yeah, I was back before I had the surgery on my leg for the hematoma. They actually came into me, the doctor came into my room and says, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you're dying, you're dead. And I said, okay, yeah, we're all dying, I understand that, but what sort of time frame are you talking about? And he says, no, at the moment you're in 100% kidney failure. Like, if we don't treat you, you are gone, you won't come back. And even that it's going to be very lucky to get you back. Because the kidneys can self-heal. They're a good organ for that, but of course they were damaged, like what I was caused by is anti-inflammatories, and so that's where you got to be careful with different drugs that you take. And for me, it was the kidneys just didn't process the doses of anti-inflammatories that I was prescribed, and essentially put me into kidney failure, whereas the doctor really should have been getting blood tests from me to ensure that all bodily functions were working right, but he didn't. And that's hence why I was so sick when I went to hospital, because I was actually gone into kidney failure. And even though I was going there for my leg, but it was, yeah, apparently I was. And so a couple of weeks in ICU getting, obviously blood cleaned and stuff. And they managed to keep me here. So sorry, world. But the thing about the brain tumor is that it fast tracked me to seeing a neurosurgeon, because I was still waiting to see him for me sciatic nerve. And so when I went to, it's a long trip for us to go to the where the neurosurgery is. They're like 400 kilometers away from where we are. Anyway, we went and seen them, and I took me X-rays for me back, or me MRI scans for me back with me. And while they're waiting for me brain scans to download on the computer, I asked him, do you mind just having a look at this for me? And he, because, like, I've got this other problem. And he goes, no worries, mate. And I was like, just like that. And so he stuck them up on his thing so he could have a look at the shots. And he was like, oh, shit. And I said, well, yeah, right, I get it. He says, yeah, well, you need to have surgery on your back. And then they got the brain stuff, and he said, oh, geez, you need surgery on your brain. So good on you. And so I was like, well, which one do you want first? And I said, well, the brain one's a slow growing tumor, so I'll just go with the leg one first, or the back one first, to try and save me leg. But by the time I had a laminectomy, because it was November that I had that surgery, but I did the injury in February, the sciatic nerve's permanently damaged, so a lot of muscles in my right leg doesn't work anymore. And so, like, I got foot drop, but there's also a lot of other muscles that don't work in my leg. So as much as the leg's good, it's not like a proper leg. I can't, like, you can't run or anything on it anymore. Like, it's just stuffed. But, I still have a leg, so that's good. Because my granddad lost his leg, and it was much harder for him to live his life without a leg than what it is with me with having a leg that doesn't work so good. So I appreciate what I've got. It's certainly good. It's like everything, it can always be worse, can't it? Right. And then a month later I had surgery on my brain, and getting over that was just horrible. You never get over it as such, but it's a surgery to save your life. It's not a surgery for lifestyle. You never ever heal from it. and like you always got vertigo, fatigue, you know, really loud for me, really loud tinnitus, even though me right side.
I'm listening, but I'll have to be off camera for a second.
Yeah, yeah, it's all good. So it's just those things, and that's why when I look in this space and I see that people are stressing about some investment stuff, like I get it that it's real and it's serious. I understand that. Like I'm heavily invested in it too invested in it. You know, I get that shit. And the coffee video, which Chris was referring to, was that the Seifu thing came along at the point in time when, you know, like I was having trouble, you know, I was going through rehab to essentially learn to walk again. And I was having trouble, you know, even moving, let alone doing anything. Yet, you know, I was in a, like I said, I was in a vulnerable place and I just wanted an investment which could offer something to my family. You know, like I was already told that I was dead and, you know, given all the bad news and I dodged the bullet. I understand that. I look not too bad here, yes. But if you've seen me walk around in an afternoon, you'll see that I can hardly walk. You know, I'm that stuffed. And that's why you see me move around on my chair so much, because I'm a chronic pain patient and seriously, just everything hurts like it's on fire. But when people look at their investment and they start having all these hissy fits that, you know, things aren't working, boo fucking who? Seriously, like just, I understand that, but we've got to work together as a community to get somewhere. People, you know, like just realize that, like when I was in hospital, I said to the nurses that I'm lucky I'm still.
You okay, buddy? Are you there? Uh-oh. Sounds like we've lost you, Keith. I don't see you coming back at all. Well, I mean, I don't know. That's a tough story that he went through. I mean, I'm glad he's got the opportunity. Oh, I can't even bring up the comments. But Berto, hi Keith and Chris. What's the topic of today's live? I just think we're just hanging out. I don't think Keith didn't mention anything to me that he's particularly wanted to talk about. He's just hanging out on a Friday morning. Well, it's Friday morning to me. I don't know about everybody else. Invest in yourself says praying for you to have a healthy life, Keith. Tartan Madman, of course, saw you this morning in the new name chat. It's good to see you and all that you're doing for the community. Sorry I'm late, but what have I missed? I don't think you haven't missed much. Keith and I were talking a little bit, and then he was talking about his story about all the medical issues that he had to go through, and then and Berto is, wow, Keith, what a story, man. So sorry to hear you went and have to go through all that stuff. What's up, buddy? Did you lose your internet for a second?
Unbelievable. It just went, yeah, I just got
Yeah.
the little wheels of doom and it was all over. So sorry about that, guys, but I'll save your ears anyway. So, well, the internet
Yeah. Well,
saved your
no,
ears. So.
I couldn't bring up the comments, but I just talked through some of the comments that people had over there, and
Yeah, look,
acknowledging what they're doing.
I understand the love and support from everyone. I completely get that, and I appreciate it. Yes, there's a lot of people out there with a lot of stories, and I a while back I put mine out on YouTube within my calf community. The reason why I did that was that it's a project with, I know this sounds really funny in this space, and I know that I've had my fair share of issues too, but it's a project with all intents and purposes with honesty and integrity. And so I wanted to put out the honest stories of whatever there is, so people can build a relationship with what's going on, and then, you know, come forward with their own personal issues and have a talk to me, like essentially forming a like a crowd support group, a crypto support group. of people within my community, and it's been really great to see, a lot of people, put their foot forward and contact me and want to discuss their personal and private issues with me, and to sort of get some feedback on, like, I'm no doctor, I understand that, and I don't give medical advice, but it's like even support services, like
Mm-hmm.
how and why to do certain things, or maybe even you're just feeling a bit blue today. Well, let's just have a chat, and it's like any time of the day or night, just send us a message, have a chat, and I'll stay up for anyone and just have a chat, and everyone, and then just makes people feel that someone out there gives us stuff,
Well, it's all
and
a part of the healing process, and be able to talk to
hmm,
people and
and believe
kindred
me, it's good for
spirits.
me as much as it is for other people. Like, they say patting cats and dogs is good for your health. Well, essentially, having a support network of, people that are having their struggles, but of course you can help, makes you feel good, doesn't it? And that's why, like, at the moment, as you know, Chris, I'm trying to do my thing within our space of just to keep the temperature down a little bit
Mhm.
and just let a little bit of due process take its course. We're all trying to get to an end goal here. It's going to be bloody hard to do it, but we're trying.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. Like, you can pick the other path if you want, but the other path means that you're going to get nothing. Um, it's much, I truly believe the more bickering and fighting that we do within our community, we're playing into the X's hands. Um, Brian's hands. I really feel that we need to formulate or stick together like a group that are focused on the one objective or a couple of objectives. Okay. One is to make a success of what we're doing. And pulling each other to pits is not achieving that at all.
Mhm.
Like, you're never going to get anywhere by just sledging and throwing around all sorts of just accusational shit. What's that going to achieve, everyone? Like, have a think about it and just realize that you don't need to be quite so hard on yourself. Like, just, and hard on particularly the other people within the community. I realize that you mightn't be aware of all of the things that are going on. Nor am I, nor is Chris. Oh, sorry, I'm pointing the wrong way. Nor is Chris. But at the end of the day, you've just got to, you know, if we haven't done anything wrong, then at least just put a little bit of faith in us trying to get the right information from the right people, like Nick, etc., to help get us in the right direction. Is that not what people want?
Mm-hmm.
Please just work together.
Yeah. See Teddy One's comment down there at the bottom. Brian is laughing at us. Divide and conquer. Yeah.
Oh, you can't bring up the chats, can you?
No, I couldn't. I was
Oh,
just talking
okay.
to him.
I know, but that's exactly the point, Teddy One, is that you've seen it throughout the whole safe food days, where there was always an instillment of um, disharmony within the community
Mhm.
structure.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether it was the flip flop on decisions or whatever it was, it
Right.
always pitted people against people. And it always created an opportunity for his advantage in some way. And that's exactly what disharmony is doing today. And that's why I'm asking people to please just bear with us for a little bit. Obviously that we all have limited powers on just saving the day right here and now, but we're all doing what we can to hopefully get the right outcome, because we all want that.
Don't forget Berto's comment right above that. I don't think you talked about that one. One more. Uh, yeah. No. There you go. That one. That's where I had left off.
You just have to. you really just have to, because like there's so many, like this goes back to my thing when I was in hospital, and I did spend a hell of a lot of 2020 in hospital. Um, I had 3 major surgeries in 2020. Um, and yeah, if you've ever heard of a brain ward, you would know that there is just the epitome of shit of a hospital. It is a horrible place to be, and for yourself to be there, that and you know that you can't do any better than anyone else in there. It's just horrible. Like it really is, because essentially you got to, like, I couldn't even write, you couldn't even walk, and my tongue was messed up with the surgery. I couldn't even talk, which is
Imagine
probably a
you
good
not
thing.
being able to talk.
I know, right? But it was but it makes you realize that, of course, that, a lot of people don't even get this privilege of living their life as full as what I've been able to do. Like all the little kids and stuff like that. So you've got to like try and look beyond the here and now and look at the big picture. So thank you, Berto. I as much as I possibly can, we'll just keep a chin up. And if you've seen me every afternoon try and walk around, you would be, if you were my partner, if you could see me through my partner's eyes, you would be going, how the hell? Because like, she's you might see me on my farm videos where I'm able to walk around and that, but that's only for a few hours a day that I can do that. The rest of the time, my body doesn't work. And yeah. But hi, Daniel. Cheers, mate. Yeah, we're here to pull the piss out of you, Daniel. It's all good. You'll be right. You're the least of our problems, Daniel. It's all good. I was wondering how he got on the other day when Mrs. Worldwide said a statement in a Discord, and I sort of rebutted the statement to some degree, and she was sort of trying to get the story right. I just wonder, hopefully Daniel got the right side of the story, which I'm sure he would have done, because I certainly wasn't being mean to Mrs. Worldwide. So please don't take it as that. And hopefully you didn't receive it as that, because it was not meant to be like that. It was just the way his question was structured. That's all. I think it was mainly, it was back in the days of Jason releasing information, or potentially releasing information on the amount of money that Nick's charged for doing what his services. But of course, like a lot of that's been rebutted and what it is. So
Yeah,
we just don't know.
Miss Worldwide's pretty level-headed. I'm sure that.
Yeah, I know. I get that.
I think that if she would have thought that it was rude or so, she might have been like, "Hey, what do you mean by that?" She's
yeah.
not.
Well, there was a bit of back and forth, but it wasn't argy bargy sort of back and forth. But hopefully it was all it was received by Daniel as being amicable, which it was. It was definitely not any sort of thing on my side, and as far as I could tell, it wasn't on Mrs. Worldwide's side. I try not to be disrespectful or inconsiderate to people.
Yeah, there's no. I mean, there's really no reason for any kind of disrespect or anything like that. Tartan Madman, are you gonna change your name on YouTube to be your name that's in the Discord? It's Tartan Madman, Community Cop.
I thought he was coming in here with a different name, saying that he's I can't remember what it was a bit earlier on. He was maybe, or someone else. Someone said that you know how a lot of people have different names on YouTube to what they have on Discord.
Yeah.
I thought someone said they had a different name, but seriously, I haven't really. Yeah,
He's
I get mixed up.
He's Tartan Madman everywhere, but
we need to invest in yourself. We really just have to, whether you like it or not, whether you're in agreement with everything that's going on or not. We just have to work together. Unfortunately, it is just. It's the nature of the beast where we just have to work as a united force for a common goal. And, all I can tell you is from my perspective, and I'm sure Chris will agree from his perspective, is that we are trying to do the best we can for everyone within the space, as trying to provide, because of course we're in the middle ground. I know you guys are doing your thing, but we're trying to present news to people, information and viewpoints, and let your opinions be spread amongst everyone in a different space. Everyone has their role, of course, but we really got to just stick together and just, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Geez, you rewinded back to the beginning, you'll be bored batshit. Like, you'll have to put up with me talking too much, Daniel. Yeah, it is seriously while minor. I feel like Vulcan was seriously we're dealing with meth heads, where everything we were told was fake, opposite from the truth, and it just there were so many agendas and narratives. Like, it started to make me feel the same, like Twilight Zone shit, where I'm going, where's reality? Like, seriously, like, you've just got to try and figure out what the hell is going on with this show, because it's so easy to get caught up and wound up in just shit. And I just couldn't believe that we are where we are. But
Mm-hmm.
who would have thought of this? Like,
Well, I know, yeah, I know that people we can't forget the past and everything like that. We gotta focus on it, and we have to understand it, and we have to move forward. But I'm 100% focused on getting to a community DAO. I mean, that to me is that is where we need to be. And when I see stuff like that, Teddy one, I think of what's that saying? Time for honoring yourself will soon come to an end. So yeah, he's been honoring himself for quite a while, and hopefully that will come to an end in the near future.
I know that there's obviously a fair few different things happening within, obviously, the legal means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm
Like,
sure. Yeah,
so we'll just watch this space. We'll see what's happening. Just
right.
because you're not necessarily hear about it doesn't mean that things aren't happening. So,
Well, I
just
think the good thing about it, and this is the way I feel about it, and that's why I know that that some people are very upset with me in the community and outside of the community about taking over the Discord and all that, and they don't, they particularly may not like me or whatever, and but my goal, and I'll take all the heat we can I can, but my goal is to maintain the Discord as civilly as possible, not make any changes or anything like that. Get it to the DAO, the community DAO, turn it over to them, and let the community have a voice in all these things. The Discord, the you know
whatever
how
there
the
is. Yeah.
blockchain's going to be run, how different councils are, and that type of stuff. It is just it, and that's the problem that I have, is that I want to send a clear message to everybody. Look, it's all hands on deck. If you don't like the deal that Nick signed and everything like that, that's okay. We have time that we can discuss that, and once the DAO's created, we could, I think the deal is the deal, but maybe we can make changes down the road into the future, and we'll have a better standing when we have an actual entity, a legal entity, and a DAO created, and the control, the liability, and everything is transferred over to. Um, yeah,
That much.
but once everything's over to the DAO and the community, it's legitimately people from the community and not some type of you know I mean, whatever, just legitimate people from the community are on the DAO, then everything gets transferred over there and people have a say. And that's where it's like, I just want to get there, and I want to get there as soon as possible. And if you don't like everything, I agree with you. You and I probably are in agreement on mostly everything, but
Yep.
let's get to a DAO, get that structured, make sure it's right, get the governance rules together and everything like that, now people have a say, and it's not people behind closed doors making decisions that are affecting all of us. So we get there. There's a whole lot of things we got to do, but as soon as we get to a DAO, people can have a say and we can move in the right direction because everybody is involved. That's why I feel. There it is. Tartan Magnum. Crypto Cop. I think it's awesome.
I have a lot of experience with people that are self-professed crypto cops in this space. I hope you're a good one, so thank you. I like that one there by Teddy One. It's semi-like that much. You like him that much? I'm just. Hey, Sophie Dad. Hi, mate. Thank you. Cheers for turning up. Thank you. I know that. I'll just post this up there and see what it says. I haven't scanned it. I'm amazed at all the back at all the back and often in must be back and forth in Discord about this new blockchain. Fine to make your points. Heard, I suppose, but as Keith said, oh, nice. Hopefully, I said some good stuff. Mm-hmm. It isn't a big deal, as it's made to be. It's daunting. We can seriously, like, if you know how Discord works, you could pick one little topic, and a whole community can have a conversation about that whole topic for the best part of 24 hours or more, just going back and forth, talking, different angles and lines and shit. And it's just like, what are we accomplishing out of this, people? Like, seriously, what are we accomplishing? Like, all you're doing is just talking and you're not doing anything. The best thing to do, in my opinion, is to get a DAO, and then guess what? A DAO has to do what the community wants it to do. Like, that's where you get a better say as a community as to what happens. Just being keyboard warriors on Discord isn't going to make a difference to what's going on. The DAO is where there's going to be a difference. So just
give it a thought. The DAO, I mean, I don't want to hype up the DAO as being something like,
yeah,
we know,
but
at the same time, there in Nick's plan that he put out there and everything like that, if you look at the councils and all that kind of stuff, I mean, people will have a say. I mean, that's what we want. We want people to say no more. We want to, we'll be able to say the directions that we want to go in, and that's what I look forward to. I don't think who was saying that he's a corrupt cop.
No. I was just coming up with some shit. I've had a lot to do with crypto police before, so to speak. Discord crypto police, and I just wonder which side he's on. So he's saying he's not corrupt. So that was good. Thank you.
Would you bring up? I think Teddy One's talking to somebody else, but would you bring up Berto's?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think Tartan Man. If anybody's calling him a corrupt cop, that's just being mean. He's a great guy. I mean, that's so.
I wasn't alluding to that, but I was just saying that in the Discord space, you get some self-proclaimed crypto cops that like to say their narratives and agendas or whatever, got their axes to grind. And I've been at the front of that a lot in the past. And so I was sort of saying, I hope you're not like, and he says, no, I'm not a corrupt one. So I was
should make a place in the Discord for like a role for crypto cop and have Tartan Madman right there. Just put it over to the side. So Berto says, the reason for you taking over the Discord is that for Nick to focus more on the DAO and completing the blockchain. It was more for the fact that it basically, we didn't want it to get wrapped up in any kind of agreement that Nick had. And so it would be safe. And, we wouldn't make any changes or anything like that. We won't do anything at all. If anything would have to be made, a decision made before the DAO, we would have some type of a community type vote or something like that. I do know they will be adding a few mods, and when the DAO takes over, that'll be up to the DAO, but maybe adding a few mods, and we're working to add a validator chat. So you have to verify and be in a validator chat and all that. So other than that, and that the only intention was that it was safekeeping. Nick, what was said in there and what was going on in there would not come back to Nick, as in, in his negotiations, because he wasn't endorsing that kind of stuff, but he felt like people should have the right to be able to voice their opinions respectfully. So there's going to be some setups on trying to tone it down a little bit and be a little bit more. If you have an issue, be respectful. Let's talk it through. But not censorship of, if you say one thing about dear leader, you're gone forever. But that's always, I mean, there's no other motive other than the fact that I would say that I'll turn it over to the DAO. As soon as the DAO is created and it's legit, it's not some type of, there are legitimately community members that are on there that can make a difference. Turn it over, and then it's all up to the DAO. It's all them.
Hi, Shadow X.
What's up, bud? I love his profile picture. It's such a cool one.
Yeah, some people have good avatars.
Yeah.
Mine's just this bloody C. I don't know what that's
You
for.
see, Teddy Ones is those F3 warriors from Fowler.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, I see that. Yeah, I see that. Yeah. While mine is saying that coffee video seems to fall a bit short. I almost felt the same myself. But if he was going to get, I think it's a good introduction to hold the attention of people to have an understanding that a scam's taken place. And then maybe leads into something more. That's the way I sort of felt. Maybe there's more investigative stuff going on in the background that I don't know. I have coffee on direct message, but I haven't heard anything about this being a sequel of any sort.
Well,
But it
there is somebody else that's doing a follow up. What was his name? It's
I'm
at the
not
very
sure.
end of his video, and it seems kind of odd because we didn't see a whole lot of it. I'm a Patreon member of CoffeeZilla, so I got to see it. But at the end of the video, he introduces somebody else, and I don't know if I should give that out or not. I mean, you might be able to see. You might already know, but that person goes somewhere, and it looks like he's at a gate, and he's knocking on the gate with, it looked like to me, a fishing pole.
I think Teddy One is on the exact path.
Yeah, I mean,
Using some thoughts. So thank you, Teddy One.
yeah. I mean, I think that I don't know. I don't know what that they can or can't do. I think the government's rules and everything like that. But at the same time, my feeling will be that whatever they do end up doing, the community will be involved in making those decisions. So
I think that another way to put it is that um, even though we're not aware of exactly what a DAO will be able, like Chris was just saying, what it will and won't be able to do, we have a feeling that it will be a positive move.
well,
We'll have,
whenever people have the ability to speak to
mm,
people and their vote be heard, I mean, and I like the fact that Nick was talking about term limits. That they'd only be there for a short period of time. And I think that that's very fair. I don't think that it should be like I mean, you
a
might want to
monopoly.
go, because he said like 45 days to 60 days. You might want to go maybe a little bit longer, maybe 90 days at the max, but that might just be because so much rotation, people will be like, well, now who's on the down now, but at the same time,
Yeah.
there's a lot that could happen in 90 days. So like Nick's talking 45 days, that'd be a decent rotation, and getting new members in and stuff like that. And, and seriously, I mean, it's all about the community being heard, we have not been heard for 2 years, and look what they've done to us. Well, look what the other guy did to us. Everybody else, we're not sure. I don't know. I don't know that stuff, but we do know about that guy. So now let's move into a situation where we can have a say. I was thinking that was you, but I was kind of nervous because you look like you'd come in like, you're like bad dude on that picture. So I was like, I'm not going to even say anything to him.
Looks like a bit like a predator.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared of him right now.
And you're getting a thanks from Birdo. You must have said something smart. So there you go. You're getting a thanks. Coffee's upset because in his first video, the community tore him up. A lot of people are upset because they didn't get listened to in there. Like,
yeah, and I don't think it should be around like I don't think it should be holdings wise or anything like that. I think the DAO needs to be like elected from the community, and it can't be like the most popular or whatever. It needs to be like legitimately individuals that have been there. Well, I mean, I necessarily wouldn't think that they would have to be there for a long time, but just members of the community that can make a decision, and those members listen to the community behind them, not like they have their own agenda and everything like that. Like, really, why are you even doing that? Just listen to everybody, and if everybody feels like they've been heard, it'll be super successful, I think.
And this is certainly a not completely unrealistic. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of things changes if there's some type of a felony or something like that with all of them. And even if it doesn't have anything to do with that, I think it might be a felony that's completely outside of any kind of issue. I think I don't know, when you have agreements like that, they hinge on the fact that the past was believed to be ethically and legally correct and into the future. So if they get in trouble for something from the past, or they get in trouble for something in the future, the deals and stuff like that can easily be broken, or not easily, but it can be.
I think the only opportunity we have is to go forth with having a community DAO, where at least then we've got some chance of doing something as a community, as a united force.
Right. And I'm not advocating with the Discord and everything. I'm not advocating for people to spend any more money. I'm not advocating for anything else other than I'm advocating to have a community DAO. And then once that's set up, and Nick might be doing boosters before that. I don't know how the plan's going to work. They're going to be fundraising before that. The community might want to get involved in that. I'm not endorsing anything one way or the other on any of that stuff. I'm endorsing that we get to a DAO as soon as possible, and it's represented by the community. That is it. And other than that, then, and I'd like to see the blockchain launch. I'd like to follow Nick's vision and what he wants to do. And I would like to start seeing people see some return on funds that they for months have thought they've lost it all. So see some type of returns. It would be nice. And,
tell you what, if we can pull something out, wouldn't that be something
and that's what I said. And I'm not saying that the plan the way it is right now, but I'm saying that if the DAO gets created and we truly have representation from the community there, a year from now, we could be sitting there seeing a large portion of the community starting to make profit. If you have input on, Nick, we don't like this part or that part, and people can talk those through and feel like they're heard, it may be better for the whole blockchain and everything like that. And you never know. A year from now, maybe people are starting to pull some profit, or starting to get get closer to making a little bit of money. I mean, if they get $5 out of it, it's better than nothing from before, and that's the way we felt for so long. But hopefully, it all comes together. People do the right thing, and the community's heard, and we can make some profit, and people start
And
feeling good.
what I was saying about medical conditions, a lot of people contacted me because they're hard up for financial resources, and they invested a lot on the hopes and dreams of Seifu, into Vulcan,
Mhm.
etc. Right? Um, I and these are people that are obviously, in similar positions to where I was back in 2020, right, or 2021 or two, whatever, like these last few years. Um, I want to really see people in this community, particularly, and I'm not excluding anyone from this, what I say, but you'll get me, is that I really want the people that are doing it tough to get something, not just lose their investment. I want to see people, of course, I want to see everyone succeed and get something, but that's what will truly, truly make my heart is by just seeing someone, or the people getting something. That's what I want to see happen.
Mhm.
I really want to see that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Leon. Thanks for your support, mate.
He
Thank
won
you very
last
much.
night. Leon, you won last night, right? He won on Fowler's raffle giveaway for some really awesome NFTs. You think the ones that you've
Oh,
seen
right.
now are awesome. You should have seen those last night. And those are one-offs. There's only one. So
I'd
I
have
think,
to get Leon to show me what they are, because he,
yeah, I
he
think
he's on me
Leon
DMs.
won one and everything. I don't know if he's ready to put it out there and everything like that, but there were several that were really, really
I
nice.
did say DM, like,
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if he's like sending it out to show people or if it's,
yeah. I've actually spoken live with Leon. He's a great supporter of what I do. So thank you very much, Leon. Without people like Leon, a, a project like Cause for the Calves would be in a much more difficult position than where it is. So he's a
yeah,
wonderful supporter. So thank you. Um, Actually, this camera that I'm using now is because of support from people in the community, and Leon's one of those people, where
awesome.
they supported me so I could have assistance to be able to do stuff, because I couldn't afford to do things myself, and so they did some fundraising, and there you go. So Leon's a great supporter of that. Oh geez, here we go. Not another one for Chris.
Yeah, I agree with you,
um
Shadow X. Yep. But you know what happens when he does change his mind and when he does something that I mean, ultimately the best thing for him to do is to really not break the deal or anything like that, move forward, and maybe he'd see a return in the future. But as it stands right now, I mean, the funds are there. That's been identified by the community. We're watching the liquidity at it's right up in the Discord. It's like almost to the top there. We're watching it. I mean, he goes in there and does anything nefarious or anything like that. It's kind of like, dude, you're stealing. He's not in the position to be spending any of that money. And if that money goes without Nick's knowledge or for what Nick had planned, and then it's obvious, then he's, so that wouldn't be in his best interest to do that. Changing his mind and everything like that. Honestly, when the DAO's together, they could have discussions with Brian or whatever, who knows? But the part that I'm looking at is I want the community represented, and if the DAO is that, and then I am all for doing that as soon as possible, but as as correctly, just not slapped together and everything like that, but pull it together and get it up there so that people can have a voice. That's where I'm at. But
I
I
think
have
where we
your concerns, Shadow X?
I think that as soon as we get to that point, I think that everyone can breathe that little bit easier, like
Yeah.
when,
I'm hoping because there's a lot of things out there. This community has not been represented at all for a very long time. And now we have Nick in a position where he's even talking about a DAO in his plan. He brings it up and it's like, okay, so the way I read this is that we get to this DAO, people in the community will have a voice. Okay. That's what the problem is. The people had a voice all along. Then none of this stuff, a voice that had legal backing, not oh, I listened to a bunch of people in Discord or something like that. I mean, a lot of the comments on there are legit and everything, but I'm not discounting that. I'm just saying that they don't really have teeth when you got a group that wants you to make a change or do something. A DAO will have the teeth to say, look, these are people from the community that are represented here, and we want this done. And to me, it's like that's a win-win for all of us. If it fails because we had a voice and we made the wrong decisions, then it's all on us. It's not on someone rugging us. It's not on someone, scamming us or anything like that. It's all on us. We have the people of the community are on the DAO. Sooner we get there and the decisions get put to them and get put out and action starts rolling, that's when we'll all be sitting around going, okay, I can feel better about it,
That's where I feel the crossover point will be when we get to that point when there can actually be a DAO, and then you can actually see the DAO enact an action.
And that's my other thing is that there's some critical people out there. Some people are very upset with me, and I'm like, I understand their point of view, and I don't want anything that the other guy did to ruin any kind of relationship that I had, but I am laser focused on getting to this DAO, and I want the people to be represented, and I don't have a say in anything. I just go back to playing video games and all that kind of stuff, and then I'm fine. But if people are upset with me because that's my goal, I can't help that.
One of the biggest problems of putting yourself out there, being a YouTuber or a content presenter, is that you got to, unfortunately, you cop the flack.
Right. And if it's warranted and valid, I will definitely address it. But at the same time, if you know me, and I think a lot of people do, I really just want this. I don't want to be a part of any of this. I think this deal stinks and all that stuff, but I am right in laser focused on getting this to a DAO. That's it. That's what it was motocross, Daniel. That's he's out on a bike riding around,
The problem with me is that I suffer a bit with ADD, and my mind was always such where I would never give up. I was just such a go-getter and no matter how much pain or, I reckon I won't say that. Like if a situation was extremely difficult, then I used to thrive on it. It was like I used to thrive so much on self-torture. And that's it. So, Daniel, you make me laugh. Bloody hell. Shit. Daniel's good at getting a flogging, though. He loves a flogging. I'll give him a bit every now and again.
Yeah, I was talking to him, and we had a discussion in Discord. I think it was last week. And I saw that some people in there and stuff like that. And honestly, I mean, the only thing I can say is that we all have a common goal. We want
welcome to welcome to project ownership.
Yeah.
Like bloody hell, it can be a rewarding position, but geez, it can be a bloody difficult one too. Like because like the buck stops with you, so it's like oh shit. Mm-hmm. It can be a challenge, that's for sure. people think that it's all so easy yeah, it's,
Well, it doesn't help in the DeFi space where you have so many different rug pulls and drama
I
and
know,
all that kind of
I
stuff.
know,
It's like
I know.
it's hard for the you know the legitimate ones out there to get a fair shake. So you got to just. I mean, that's why people are turning away from DeFi, and you wonder why. You know, some of these scammers have been able to just run wild on people in the past and stuff like that. And it's like, you know, it's
But
tough.
it's even, when you get nefarious developers and stuff.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's not
And
even some of
like,
the owners and
it
stuff.
doesn't mean the owners are doing something bad, but if, like in my position, I let someone who was a developer do some work, and by geez, did not pay a price for it, and I'm still paying a price for it. And that's just, unfortunately, that's just what happens. Obviously, I wish that all projects just wouldn't have scammers out there. Yes, of course, but it happens. It doesn't mean that the project owner is a scammer. And, like, it's just sometimes shit happens. Like, you just got to accept it and move on. And that's where, like, I done that, and I done it pretty bloody quick. And that's why I just did what I had to do to mitigate the damage. And consequently, I solved any damage from happening to investors. But, it takes decisive, quick actions to, do what you got to do to,
Right.
turn a bad situation into a controlled situation. And then you can start going step by step to put it all back together again. And then you're okay. But yeah, it's a oh shit, I can agree with me. I've got to put this one up. Maybe I started from the beginning when I got in, but I have to say the same thing. Saying to more positivity. Yeah, no.
Well, I mean,
It's
you can, I'm gonna have to call Daniel out on this. I mean, he wants to talk about more positivity, but your map has no
I'll put him
problem
back
going
now.
around saying that I'm saying certain things. Now, Daniel's not at
Ooh.
fault for this, but Daniel, he saw this and he understood it, and he didn't believe that that's what was meant, but that was portrayed. I got all kinds of messages and stuff like that. So, and I was
Ah.
like, they were coming to me going, "Why did you say that?" And I'm like, I don't remember saying that." But Daniel, but I understand Daniel's talking about positivity, but he's with somebody that is intentionally trying to deceive other people as to what me and other people have said. I mean, it's pure and simple. He knew what I had said during that time, and he continued to like. And Daniel didn't know. Daniel was just going off what he said. I'm not on Daniel. I'm just saying that we talk about positivity, and then the next thing we know, someone's trashing someone else for no reason. I didn't. That was not what I had said. And when he told Daniel, and Daniel was like, I don't think that, I didn't think that's what you said. And I'm like, that's fine, Daniel. And I appreciate that. Not upset with you, but he said it and it was out there and it was never corrected. And I had to go correct it myself. And, I had the evidence to show this is what I said, not the part that was cut off, but this is what I said. So, and Daniel's right, and I don't want to miss that opportunity. But the whole thing is, we have to check all around for that. Having positivity is one thing, but blind ignorance is another. So we have to keep our eyes open for all that kind of stuff and stay positive, looking for the future, but not ignorant to things around us. But yeah,
Wow, I didn't know that was going to happen.
yeah, well, I mean, but Daniel knows, and I'm not calling Daniel out, and he's not wrong or anything like that. But
Yeah,
those are
yeah.
things that it's like we need to do positivity and everything like that. And it's like, okay, well, we need to check people that were around too, because when you put out stuff basically to say that you are the bad guy, or someone's the bad guy, then it's like that's not being very positive, man. But I know it's not Daniel's fault. I'm
To
not on
talk
Daniel.
on a more positive note, Jason Mercer, hello, and how's the pub going? How many you had too many beers yet, or you still like you're obviously coherent enough to be able to spell correctly.
Yeah, exactly.
he's down the local, so he's doing well. It's a and 10. Oh, you know what happened last weekend. Your head's gonna hurt tomorrow, boy. You're gonna be going, oh, my head, my head. Kids, shut up. My head's hurting too
Poor
much.
guy.
And and yeah, he says I'm here with Scott. I know you're there with Scott. I know everything that goes on.
Hi, Jason.
But Scotty's the sensible one. Jason's not the sensible one.
Sounds like he is. Sounds like he's having a good time. He's being very sensible.
Yeah, that's right. Last week he had netball, and it was like my head hurts, and he had to take him to netball. But he commitments with kids, and it's like, oh no. Yeah, so obviously, Jason, you found where I am, so I'm not calling Scotty back right now. So you found me, even though you sent that message like an hour ago. So there you go. Sorry about that. Yeah, so yeah, Discord is quite often a hostile place, as much as I think that a lot of people don't intentionally try to be, although there is a bit of that, of course, but it's just messages can be quite often read more ways than just one, or the way that you've written it. Mm-hmm. And so it's but mainly in the way in which it's received by the vast majority of people. They, like, someone might see a statement and they take it completely different than someone else, and you end up with all these messages from people, or it gets fueled up, or they get bombed on or something, and it's just like it turns into a shit fight. And that's why, hence earlier on, I was saying that you can have one topic in Discord and you could run that for a whole day, and what has the community achieved? Nothing. You haven't got anywhere. And that's why, really, like a community DAO where you have a formulated approach, you see you, Jason. Thanks for calling in, mate.
Yeah, buddy.
And when you got a formulated approach, you've got these steps that you take, like with getting oh, you've been told to go, have you? You got the whip cracked on you. Take care, mate. And when you've got those formulated steps, like, so you can enact, find out what sort of decisions the community wants, and then you can go through the whole process of formulating those things that you need to do, and then the steps to enacting those decisions. At least with a DAO, you can start the steps and make it happen to get to the resolve that you want. With Discord, good luck trying to get, like, everyone can tag Nick if you want, but you're not going to achieve anything. You're just going to get just more conversation. It's going to get more confusing. Round and round in circles we go, and no one's going to achieve nothing out of it. And that's where you've got to have a system of business in place to handle input of information, discharge of what needs to not be worried about, and of course to formulate, things that the community wants to enact for the betterment of the community.
Right.
You've got to have processes, you've got to have checks and balances, and you've got to have systems in place to enable everyone to have an input in an orderly manner, and not just a scrambled mess of Discord, keyboard warriorship. It's just like, good luck trying to win.
But a lot of people
run a protocol off that.
A lot of people have legitimate concerns and they want answers to it and everything.
Absolutely.
Like that. So I don't want to, tag Nick, but that's or whatever. But there is a questions for Nick area and stuff like that. So maybe, and I know he goes in and checks them and stuff. And then, I hope that he's replying directly to them or how he's doing it. But, so many people have so many questions. And another thing too, is there are so many answers out there that we're not sure about, so I don't know.
I'm sure there's a lot of stuff you can't answer.
What?
Yeah, I know. Don't we all?
Yeah,
You
I
know,
have a
like
lot.
I.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. I'm like, okay, but if I spend all my time asking my questions, then nobody gets theirs, and then they're like, not, it's like, and if we could, it would be great to just be like, as a collective, we're like, what's the best question? Okay, here. What's the next one? Here, but we just gotta try your best to, I don't know, ask your questions.
We just got to get to that point in time when there's a system in place to be able to have to disseminate between questions and statements and project enhancements or development type things or whatever it might be. So then you can, formulate an attack approach to systematically get through them. And so people hopefully get the response that they want. It might necessarily, need, it's not necessarily what they want because we don't always get told what we want to hear. But the question, oh, here we go. I'm in the shit now. The question is there any screenshots carefully curated like what Nick had? It was taken as meaning doctored.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that. I remember seeing the curated
Yeah,
question. I was very concerned as to why. I thought what she asked was legit. I didn't notice anything, but but I didn't read the whole conversation or anything. But I did see what she said, and I didn't know the rest of it.
I
I
can't
didn't.
remember what I replied
I
to
was
her.
typing my issue to I was like, hey, did you see this, Daniel? That I was on that thing. So, but I did see that part, but I didn't think that she had. I don't know. And she's not like that. So she's not that kind of a person that would be,
No,
you know. So, and that's probably maybe just a little bit of confusing, curated means to present in a professional way. And that's the way I read it. So I'm not sure.
I can't. The biggest conjecture would just be about my response, but I can't remember what my response was. And I was just looking up to see what Mrs. Worldwide's question was, so I could see what my response was, and so I could see whether it was appropriate or not, or whether I missed the point. I was saying before how people's interpretation of a statement might be not received correctly. It might have been said correctly, but like I quite often
Yeah.
have this, I kind of have this problem at times when and I don't know whether it occurred here or not. I hope it didn't, but I don't know. Where I almost have texting dyslexia, where I'll read a text and I'll almost take it in a different way that I know that it was meant. And it was like, then I got to read it a second time. I was like, oh, right. Yeah, I get what they're getting at now. And it's like, like some people can read a text message and instantly gather exactly what everything is about. But for me, I can't process a text message into realizing what the person's saying as quickly as what
Yeah.
others can. It's just one of my little
I don't
failings
think
on
it's
text
necessarily you. I
messages.
think it's us old guys. I mean, we're used to talking face to face about things, and then we get texts, and we're like, I don't know how to take this.
So yeah, can't remember. And I was just looking up Mrs. Worldwide, but it looks like she's no longer in Bruce, so I would have to go digging to find the messages.
No, I mean, you got to
But
understand. So many people have so many feelings about so many things, and you know, we got a lot of healing to do and everything like that. And move on to the future, and it all goes back to
I thought there
God.
was a message, something to do with the explaining the 2.4 million, and some sort of thing to do with the evidence for the 2.4 million, and it was kind of but really I don't want to say anything, and it doesn't matter. Hopefully it doesn't matter. And if you have any issues, just direct message me.
Right. Yeah.
Because at least that way we can have a one-to-one talk and I'll sort it out. Like if I'm
Yeah.
at fault, then I'm happy to put my hand up and say so. But it was certainly, it was, I
There's
know
nothing
that,
wrong with having a conversation with somebody about
yeah,
something
I
that,
know.
especially if they're like, "Hey, you said something that I don't like," it's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, no, I meant that." Oh, so I really don't like it now.
Yeah, no, it wasn't so much a takeover. It was all just to remove Nick from the position. So then the Discord was owned in the community until there is like a DAO put in place to then hand the Discord over to the community as in the form of a DAO. And then it just clears the way for negotiations to take place without it becoming, how it become conjecturous at the time, or that Discord's going to get shut down within 24 hours or whatever. But if it's just a community member having their Discord, then obviously it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
Nick had it, it's a different story. So it just clears the way. It's just some shit out of the way. That's all it was about.
We'll
It
be
was
implementing things like what Daniel's saying. It might get better and everything like that, but we're not making any major changes other than I make sure that Daniel understands is that this is a placeholder. This is not, they'll be adding a few mods. And then there'll be, hopefully they have a validator node channel that in there. We'll do that soon. And that's it. I mean, the key is that this is just a placeholder for the DAO. That is all there is. And if any major changes have to be made, that'll have to be something that the community comes together to make. I'm not involved. I won't be changing anything, not even a structure or anything like that. It is just to make sure it's safe where people could talk and they can openly have their discussion. And then it can be transferred to a properly, community driven DAO. That's it.
the main thing is as presenters of
What's up,
content.
Terry?
G'day, Terry. How you going, mate? Thank you very much for ducking in. I just feel that as presenters, the really, unless of course you have some personal objection to it, I think the only way forward is with the DAO setup, which is community,
Yeah.
and we just got to try and educate people that that's all we're trying to do, and then just try not to have too many fights and just being at each other's throats. Just take it a step back a little bit and then have a discussion about it, and then we'll figure out a path. Like, we'll get there. Just don't need to kill each other in the process. We'll be all right. But because I'm doing some, you see, there's obviously under construction. I've actually missing part of the wall of our shed where I'm putting a bathroom underneath the veranda, which I'm getting it set up to pour the concrete. And we're actually missing the sheets off our shed here. And that's right where my oldest son's room is. And so he's going to sleep in this room tonight. So I've been told that I've got to vacate because he's got to go to bed. So, and I'm not going to pick on him because he's going to the dairy in the morning. So he's a good lad. So yeah, to save everyone ears, I've got to say good night and just stay positive, guys, and just keep your chins up. If you have concerns or issues, talk to Chris, talk to me. Just have a discussion, talk civilly in Discords, try and, we're all trying to do the best we can in a difficult situation. Just realize that it could be worse. You could lose your investment. It could be worse. You could have cancer or some shit. Like, it could be worse. Like, there's always worse than where you are right now. If you've got your health and you've got your ability to do stuff, seriously, I'm sure you'll be okay. So just keep it together and just look after each other. Don't be so hostile with everyone, please. Just chillax.
Yep. I think, and my goal is more community representation. That's legitimately. And if you want to get a verification from that, DM me if you are concerned about that. Let me know. I mean, I'm open to it, but I'm just here to get the community as much representation as possible. Turn it over to the DAO, and that's it.
And that's why I don't know how Chris would receive this. I'll find out in a second. Is that going forwards? I think that we will probably have a few more live streams while we're just going through these step by steps,
Sure.
because we're having quite a lot of associations with each other, because we're like-minded in the way that we want the community to succeed for the community. And I mean that for everyone in the community. That's what I want to see succeed. Of course, I have an investment and I'm part of the community. Chris is the same. Of course, we want to have it succeed. And, I just wish everyone the best. And we're just working step by step to get to that end goal of having some representation of success. So, let's just stick together and we'll see what we can come up with. We're just people here having a talk.
Yeah, just a couple guys hanging out.
So thank you very much, everyone. But yeah, I've got a dash. So
I hear you. So do I.
Yeah. So you don't have any other final words? You're okay?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just, hey, man, we're trying to get the community representation, get ourselves a DAO. Look forward to it. And honestly, Nick knows, everybody knows, if you're going to tell me something about the blockchain that's not right, or something, I see something wrong, I'm going to let everybody know. But so don't have me involved in any of the decisions of the blockchain or anything like that. If I think there's something wrong, I'm going to say something. And, right now my whole goal is just get to the DAO, turn over the Discord, and go back to playing video games.
And I'll certainly make that pledge to everyone. If I see something or smell a rat, you will be the first one to know. I will absolutely wholeheartedly make that pledge to everyone, whether you like me or not. That's what I pledge to you guys. Is
the one thing to be very clear about is that with when it comes to Nick and stuff like that, I've really liked the fact that if not just me, but someone says something comes up, he'll do an AMA and discuss it. He's not like, so that to me is, I think, one of those things, one of those things that's great about having Nick and everything, or having a Nick about so far,
but we'll we sort of got to just keep our feet on the ground and just keep on putting one foot in front of the other. We'll make progress. We'll be talking to Nick and we'll see where we end up, but we are definitely heading in the right direction. So whether you like it or not, that's just the way it is, Otherwise, Nick could have just walked away, got his paycheck, walked away, and just wiped his hands. But he's chosen to walk over some hot coals with us, for us, as a community, to try and do something to help salvage from a situation that there was no hope. So, just good. Thank you. I didn't think there was, but I just wasn't sure, because I know that I was having a discussion. You got to, most of the times is that it's late at night, and when I'm having discussions, some of them I can't remember the exact details, and I'm sure it wasn't on my end, and so I was just really hoping that it wasn't on her end either, because I really didn't
look at the last one. Look at the last one. I mean, it just he's saying, or pretty much.
Yeah. So yes, thank you. You put me at ease there. Thanks, Daniel, because I really don't want to tread on toes. Sure, sometimes you mightn't agree with things I might comment or say, but I'm not saying things out of spite. I'm not trying to be nasty or anything like that. It's all good. We're all just trying to do our things in a very difficult times, and it's just the way it is, unfortunately. And yeah, the last thing I want to see is people pitted against each other. And that's what sort of is a bit disheartening in recent times, understandably, but it's obviously a bit disheartening to see the community being so broken and shattered. But we'll get it back together. We'll work together and we'll be okay.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm putting in more.
It's going to be awesome. We're going to and we're going to move forward. And like I said, we're going to, if we fail, it will fail because the people, the community was involved in the decision. That's my whole thing is get to the DAO. You know, they have representation there. We all do. And we fail or we succeed with us. So that's the important thing, I think.
Righto. Thank you, people. Love you all very, very much. Thank you very much for joining in. Thank you, Chris, for joining. And
anytime.
I'm sorry for making everyone's ears bleed. So thank you. Yeah, good night, everyone, and enjoy the little cow. Good night.
Take care.